Marcelo Payssé is an architect and professor. Diplomated in Education, Images and Media in Digital Culture. He was consultant and jury member in many regional and international contests. Until 2020, he was full professor at the Department for Design and Computer Science, and from 2020 to 2022, at the Center for Digital Integration in the School of Architecture, Design and Urbanism of Uruguay.
Addressing new dimensions of the real and the ideal is a challenging task, given the vast body of what has been written and formulated about these two concepts. Both have emerged as a result of collective constructions that went along with the evolution of conscious life. Their interrelation has become even more complex with the recent integration of digital reality. To carry out this exploration, we aim to correlate and harmonize various convergent theories about the real, the ideal, and the digital into a unified framework that can serve as an analytical tool. We intend to do so by resorting to the use of diagrammatic reasoning, which we believe will enhance comprehension. These theories have been developed by widely recognized authors, both in previous and contemporary studies, and they have significant support within the scientific community. By exploring these different approaches, we will uncover the profound complexity of our reality, spanning multiple scales with increasingly blurred boundaries. Our aim is to demonstrate how the deep-seated nature of reality shapes our experiences across different scales, shedding light on its essential role in understanding the wholeness. Embracing this inherent risk, we will delve into the exploration of these concepts, even if they may appear tangential to design disciplines. This endeavor is essential to assimilate new paradigms arising from these three components of the expanded reality, which will be instrumental in navigating the accelerated landscapes of technological development. This meta-statement by Karl Popper, one of the foremost science philosophers of the 20th century, refers to the notion that observations about reality cannot be made in a purely objective manner, devoid of influence from the theoretical framework in which they are conducted. Moreover, no approach to reality can be considered naive, as they are all influenced by the intentions and biases of the observer, even those arising from scientific investigation. A theory is, first of all, a way of seeing, a way of being in the world, and not a way of knowing what the world is. In addition, Popper introduced the concept of falsifiability as an essential criterion for establishing the validity of a scientific theory. It should be formulated in such a way that allows empirical tests capable of refuting or falsifying it. Science turns out to be asymmetric. While the confirmation of a prediction does not prove a theory, it temporarily bolsters its validity. Conversely, the failure of any other prediction declares it false or in need of reformulation. This last clarification implies that we will encounter theories widely accepted but potentially residing within the realm of being non-refutable. The categories we will cover in today's presentation are complementary. They represent different sections of the same issue and all points towards the core of reality. Let's begin with the triad that lends its title to the presentation. Consider the three scales of what we can be referred to as expanded reality or multi-scale reality. The most recent, the most ancient, the real, involves physical objects transcending human existence in time and space over the past 13.8 billion years. On the other hand, the ideal emerges from most recently from conscious and unconscious mental processes and has accompanied us through a significant part of our evolutionary experience for about 200,000 years. Lastly, the digital, a newcomer that has rapidly impacted all aspects of life over the last 60 years. We consider them as a triad that overlaps and stands out while retaining their hybrid nature. Each one contains the seed of the other two. This triad shapes the expanded reality with all its augmented dimensions. The connective thread among these three aspects is information. Now let's analyze their mutual influence. In 1935, our most important visual artist, Joaquín Torres Garcia, do you know him? Defined the universal metaphysical order, the fish, as that which allows us to arrange, classify, and generalize about things. Consider that things and their representations are nothing, they are appearance. Reality is the idea, its cipher is the triangle of ontological correspondences among the three worlds: physical world, materiality; intellectual world, possibility; emotional world, manifestation. Let's examine some comparative categories of the three aspects of the expanded reality concerning locality, temporality, and influence. Consider now the interfaces between each of these players. Any dialogue with technology takes place on a hybrid territory, where our instruments influence our behavior as much as we influence theirs. Real ideality is collectively negotiated in the real world. It is not possible to separate a mind from the world in which it is immersed. Digital reality comes from digital processing, but deploys in the physical world. Its meaning is mediated using digital technologies. Ideal digitality unfolds virtually in the metaverse, including immaterial entities manifested through digital technologies and shaped by human activity. Lastly, information represents the ultimate essence of the expanded reality formed by the source code contributed by each of these three components: quantum, genetics, and algorithmic. The construction of the new reality has always unfolded within Torres Garcia emotional world. It has been expressed through urban proposals where its collective manifestation is resolved. During the Quattrocento, Fra Carnevale, an Indiera of the Serenissima, Canaletto, exemplified this approach by drawing upon collective imagery to the extent that the boundary between experience and thought became indistinguishable to the common observer. In more recent times, the struggle between tradition and utopia played out, engaging the collective memory of communities that share the same cultural foundation. Aldo Rossi addressed this conflict by proposing a new analog-based version, selecting some representative elements of human reality. Paolo Soleri, on the other hand, founded a utopian city with one of the earliest approaches to creating an ecologically sustainable community. Years later, Rem Koolhaas proclaims his retroactive manifesto developed during his master's studies, The City of the Captive Globe, manipulating the initial syntax patterns of the modern movement. The germ of collective consideration referred to transformation, adaptation, and transscience, archetypes of the digital age, was established in the debate that the Arquisur group incorporates based on its urban proposals filled with informational content. One way to embrace the inherent strangeness of reality is through the realm of literary speculation. It offers a unique opportunity to transcend the bounds of our imagination, allowing us to anticipate and explore the profound implications of alternate realities that may exist. Writer Jorge Luis Borges delves into themes such as infinity, time, labyrinths, and parallel universes, inviting us to challenge the cognitive limits of and immerses us in vastness and intricacy. In his short story, The Garden of Forking Paths, Borges anticipates by 16 years the scientific concept known as the many-worlds interpretation, formulated later on in 1957 by Hugh Everett. Note of caution: this is open to interpretation, as quantum universes are not classical macroscopic worlds, but rather represent branches opening at quantum levels. Furthermore, visual science fiction narratives prompts us to visualize scenarios and question our assumptions about everyday reality. Neo's choice is often referred to as bifurcation. According to Everett, all possible...
Encontré esto en internet.
Sorry. AI. According to Everett, all possible outcomes of a quantum event actually happen in separate parallel universes. Each one contains a version of the observer experiencing one of those outcomes. Again, this is speculative and follows Deutsch theories, but bear with me as it will help us to clarify my point. After this general introduction, let's shift our focus back to the real, specifically concerning its direct physical manifestation and influence, matter and energy. In his book, The Elegant Universe, Brian Greene defines matter as anything that contains mass and energy as anything that is in motion. Matter constitutes the structure of the universe, while energy enables its transformation. Einstein's testament unifies these concepts. Matter and energy are two sides of the same coin. What we sometimes refer to as inert matter actually contains complex forms of self-organization, hysteresis, and information akin to living matter. Various forms of energy.
No hay nada a la
Recently, Maria and Achim presented some fantastic examples of these forms of organization. Why is it interesting to delve into the concepts of matter and energy, as well as space and time? Efficient utilization of these concepts could potentially hold the key to the next stage of exponential development. Ephemeralization is a term coined by Mr. Fuller, referring to the trend that of achieving more with less over time. It implies that as technology advances, it becomes more efficient in the use of resources, enable us to accomplish increasingly complex tasks while using fewer materials, less energy, and less time. We exist as beings constrained by nature, by a mundane reality, navigating through spaces defined by the Cartesian order, perceiving time as flowing independently from space, confined within a low entropy bubble inside a singular, circumstantial, and restricted local universe. We need to build a model of reality before being able to act upon that reality. We are representational organisms. These limitations prevent us from experiencing exponential growth in the way reality unfolds. As we will see, the expanded reality extends far beyond these conventional confines. Throughout history, humanity has developed various theories to explain the concept of reality. One of the oldest is Plato's allegory of the cave. Our sensory perceptions should portray a subdimensional play of true reality. According to classical physics, reality is believed to be objective and deterministic, governed by universal physical laws. However, at the start of the 20th century, relativistic physics introduced the idea that reality is observer-dependent. Our experiences of space and time differ from those of others, and reality is shaped by the observer's outlook. On the other hand, quantum physics has proposed even more radical notions about reality. According to quantum mechanics, our reality does not exist objectively and independently of our observations. Instead, it exists in a state of overlap until measured or observed. Quantum particles fluctuate in a probabilistic mixture of all possibilities, with their definitive appearance only manifesting upon observation. Despite being at opposite ends of the spectrum, quantum and relativistic theories share the similar qualities that significantly distinguish them from classical reality, especially the active role of the observer as an agent of reality. Ironically, 25 centuries later, one of the latest speculative theory of the nature of the information, the universe as a hologram or the holographic principle, bears similarities to Plato's allegory of the cave, but in reverse. This theory suggests that our experience could be an over-dimensional representation of a deeper reality, a two-dimensional array of information written on its surface. Physical reality might include not only matter, energy, and space-time, but also abstract entities like quantum information encoded on the cosmological horizon boundary. How do you do? Well, these comparative differences will be crucial for considering quantum computing, composite materials, and nanotechnology as possible key players in the next stage of rapid technological growth. The existence of additional compactified dimensions would demonstrate that the entirety of human experience was leaving us out of a basic and essential aspect of the universe. What is not accessible to human senses does not have to be. As Manetta Tullian says, sorry Neil, the enigma of the world presents an opportunity. Not knowing the truth of the world is not a lack or a deficiency, Quite the opposite, it is its driving force and its inherent condition. In his work, Wholeness and the Implicate Order, David Bohm states that reality is a continuous process of implication and unfoldment, named holokinesis, consisting of multiple interconnected levels. Each level of reality is in a certain sense more real than the underlying level implicated within it. On the other hand, the explicate or unfolded order includes the abstractions that intelligence typically formulate through intuition, imagination, and interpretation. This conceptual model bears a clear resemblance to Plato's analogy of the divided line, which proposed a successive approach to the ultimate reality, starting from conjecture, passing through belief, thought, and finally reaching understanding, and eventually poiesis, the final transition from not being to being. The Bohm's onion-type concept of reality is composed of a series of interconnected layers that go from quantum, cosmic, and ontological realities until reaching objective and subjective idealities, which correspond to collective knowledge and human and non-human intelligence. Finally, algorithmic, genetic, and quantum information are combined in an increasing sequence of explication, completing the undivided wholeness. The concepts of it from bit, it from math, and it from qubit share the fundamental idea that information is the ontological foundation of reality. Furthermore, all three theories converge on the existence of overlapping worlds known as the multiverse. Wheeler coined the term of it from bit to emphasize the idea that everything that exists in the universe, from matter to energy and space-time, originates from information as a fundamental component of reality. Everything else would be emergent properties with the observer as a participatory subject. Any physical fact taken to its utmost abstraction is nothing more than an immaterial explanation that responds with a yes or no to our inquiries. The term it from math refers to the duplication of the world's mathematical layer due to the digitalization. The capacity to analyze and manipulate certain dimensions of our reality through operations based solely on calculation visibly confirms that the underlying mathematization of the world. Math is so persistent that it prevails independently of human thought, existing on an equal footing with physical objects. It embodies a form of structural realism. On the other hand, it from qubit suggests that the fundamental information is not binary but rather quantum. It serves as the ontological foundation of reality, and all particles and forces in the universe derive from it. It forms the substrate of quantum information and computing theory. A qubit, or quantum bit, is the smallest unit of information in quantum computing. Unlike classical bits, qubits can exist in overlapping states, simultaneously taking on the values of 0 and 1. They can be both dead and alive at the same time. Additionally, qubits can be entangled, allowing measurements of one to provide information about its entangled partners, even when they are infinitely far apart. The distributive nature of quantum entanglement in storing information, which produces redundancy, helps compensate for the fact that individual qubits are notoriously error-prone, representing a significant challenge in building quantum computers. The convergent macro-reality balances the instability of the micro-reality. The overlapping reality, collectively referred to as a multiverse, can be understood as branching histories from the past on the cosmic scale, as logical truth of all possible worlds in human scale, or as superposition of future states on the subatomic scale. The fabric of reality consists not only of reductionist ingredients such as space, time, and subatomic particles, but also life, intelligence, computation, information, and other things to which those explanations refer. So far, our understanding has focused on some atypical aspect of reality. In the future, it will be a unified conception, the four main lines of explanation through which we seek to understand the wholeness: quantum theory, theory of knowledge, theory of evolution, and theory of computation. As a host, this is a suitable moment to complete the narrative of this chapter by exploring the remarkable individual Eladio Dieste, who holds a significant position in the domains of architecture, engineering, and construction techniques. During his extensive career, Dieste engaged in a comprehensive exploration of reinforced ceramics, pushing the boundaries to levels that were rarely achieved even with more advanced technological means. He initially started with experimental and empirical approaches, then delved into the theoretical foundations, and eventually incorporated digital tools, thereby establishing a new paradigm in construction. This empirical, theoretical, computational cycle maintains a profound connection with the various aspects of the deep reality. In the context of David Bohm's framework of thought, this would stand out as a striking case of explicate order. This trajectory unfolded through a sequence of stages encompassing intuition, imagination, and interpretation, aiming to materiality, individuality, and digitality. It's based on hybrid principles such as regional construction, social commitment, and resource efficiency, all harmonized in perfect balance. He referred to this poiesis as the cosmic economy, an intricate harmony he struck with the elusive mystery of the universe, analogous to the concept of universal metaphysical order established by Torre Garcia. Dieste's approach curiously resonates with certain aspects we will explore in the upcoming chapter, particularly those related to the geometry of space-time. In the words of Eladio Dieste, the form is a language, and that language must be intelligible to us. We are in urgent need of intelligibility and therefore of expression. Let's now consider the implications of the other major category that supports reality, space-time. Space-time is a mathematical framework used in theoretical physics to combine various dimensions into a single body of reference. It is considered to be continuous and deformable entity influenced by mass and energy. Einstein's general theory of relativity in 1915 was the groundbreaking theory that ignited our understanding of space-time. transforming the immutable and independent Newton's space and time into a flexible and variable physical field. As John Wheeler explained, matter tells space-time how to curve, space-time tells matter how to move. Gravity can be seen as an emergent human interpretation of this interaction rather than a strictly independent force. Minkowski space is an essential mathematical tool for understanding relativistic physics, allowing for the representation of space-time. 3 spatial and 1 temporal dimensions are combined to describe any event. Relative presence, located at the cone's vertex, refer to the concept that due to the relativity of time, each observer has their own present, which is determined by the observer's circumstances. Past and future light cones are regions in space-time that are causally connected to a particular event. These cones describe all possible trajectories of particles that could have interacted with the event in the past or could be affected by it in the future. When we observe the cosmological horizon, we encounter an infinite number of moments from the past that appear to be hierarchically organized like an inverted tree. According to John Wheeler's participatory anthropic principle, while observing, we select from an infinity of possible past histories, a concept known as fine-tuning, to bring our experience into a suitable and consistent situation for the existence of conscious observers aware of their circumstances. In a way, we see the physics of the observable universe as it is because we are here to do so. What we see is suspiciously biofriendly. There are over 20 constants that maintain a delicate balance conducive to the emergence of life. The universe have the potential to give rise to new universes through a natural and evolutionary process that gradually refines the fundamental constants and rules that govern them. Although quantum evolution from the past to the present is not affected by our present actions, the narrative we construct about the past may indeed bear the imprint of those actions. On the other hand, when we observe particles at the quantum level, we are collapsing one of the many superpositions of possible future histories. Each time we do so, we trigger a story that branches out into different possibilities that become the start of multiple paths of outcomes. Observation is an interactive process at the very core of quantum theory, transforming what can happen into what actually happens. According to the many worlds interpretation of Everett and its follower Deutsch, when we interact with quantum systems, surprising situations occur, such as branching and interference. These branches give rise to multiple future histories that are triggered by the observer's action. Everything that can happen while respecting the laws of physics happens in one or several of these universes. As Deutsch says, it cannot be that there are multiple universes on the atomic scale, but only one universe on the scale of cats, perhaps making a nod to Schrödinger. The quantum universe suggests that present observations give rise to necessary branches on the past and delineate branches of possible futures within the vast tree of what could have been. Thinking of the past as already existing is in every detail is a mistake. The past is a theoretical construct. It has no independent existence, except in how it is captured and recorded in the present. Our choices in framing questions for our quantum recording apparatus inevitably shapes what we can say about the past. Finally, we arrive to the three fundamental laws that govern each scale of the expanded reality. Evolution, information, entropy are the concepts that define the narrative of human progress, our means for eking out a better existence, and the tragedy we were born into. In first place, evolution is the self-organizing process that has enabled the emergence of life and eventually consciousness. Our evolutionary history has contributed to both our strengths and vulnerabilities, allowing pathways that promote progress unfolding with increasing levels of abstraction. We are beginning to reach the knee of the curve. The epoch 5 of evolution predicted by Kurzweil for a few decades from now will crystallize the progress through the merger of human technology with human intelligence. It is based on the idea that the technologies of genetics, nanotechnology, and robotics are advancing at an exponential pace and will converge, leading to dramatic changes in society and human condition. In second place, information is the essential resource for intervening and enhancing adaptation. Information, rather than matter and energy, may be regarded as the more fundamental essence of reality. Finally, entropy is the running principle of the universe. It's a measure of complexity and explains the unfolding of reality from the ancient to the latter. While evolution along with information be able to counteract entropy at some point? The answer is yes, if it is considered an open system, like the Earth, for example. The answer will be no in a closed system, quite the opposite. Evolution associated with information eventually accelerates total entropy. Our tragedy on a grand scale knows no limits. On a side note, it's a timely occasion to mention that this year marks the 190th anniversary of Charles Darwin's expedition through these very lands in locations adjacent to our present venue. Darwin's contribution to the modern evolutionary synthesis provided a unifying framework that integrated information, variation, and adaptation, concepts applicable to each scale of reality. In conclusion, the multi-scale nature of reality is a crucial and structural characteristic of the universe. To fully understand the essence of expanded reality, it's necessary to consider the different scale levels, particularly the deep reality. We must study, understand, and forge them as paradigms of future computational thinking and researching, driven by quantum information theory and computation. The phrase attributed to Feynman, "shut up and calculate," pragmatically suggests that the crucial focus lies in the ability to predict outcomes, rather than merely providing a plausible explanation of phenomena. Following Dieste, the equivalent premise of explanatory theories could be apply, envision, and then calculate. The four main currents, quantum, evolutionary, epistemological, and computational theories, taken together, form a coherent explanatory structure that has such scope and has come to enclose so much of our understanding of the world that it can be called the first real theory of wholeness. The future is bound to interfaces, which will serve as the critical domains where transitions are effectively negotiated. The possibility of manipulating and controlling through parallel operations, quantum states and information will speed up exponentially the pace of technological change. The technologies needed for our future should be like Ariadne's threads, which help tissues navigate the labyrinth safely. They should be practical, adaptable, and attuned to complexity. Rather than overly eager like Icarus or Prometheus, these technologies should be sneaky, efficient, and able to harmonize with the twists and turns of our reality. Welcome back to this intricate world. You don't need to understand the world to manipulate it, but the very attempt to do so is already a success. I recently learned that they call it poiesis. You are crafting the tools to achieve this. Go for it. That's all. Thank you all for your time.